It's been a long year, and it's only January. If you're here, you survived, and I'm celebrating you for that. Today, we're going to talk about how we can crash out in 2025, but with purpose. With purpose, because if you are not on the verge of spiraling out with everything that's going on collectively, and I'm sure everyone's going through their own things individually, then this is not for you. Okay, I know that there are so many things that are pulling at our attention, that is pulling at our heartstrings, that is ripping apart our emotions, where we feel all the different emotions in a span of a day, a moment. And I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. Actually, the metaphorical those that know, those that get it will get it, want us to think that we're alone, but we're not. I see you, I hear you, and if you hear snoring, that is my dog, Ham. He is a loud snorer. So, I have some notes here. How to crash out with purpose. What does that mean? That means that you're human and you get to be human. You get to feel your emotions. You get to be angry. You get to feel sad. You get to grieve. You get to feel all of these things, but not in the expense of your spirit. Not in the expense of giving your opponents the satisfaction of seeing you fail, seeing you buried, because that's their agenda, right? And you've been through a lot, more than anyone knows. You yourself know what you've been through, to have yourself buried in the rubble. We are taking those bricks, and this time we're throwing it back at them, because we've been taking the bricks and making our foundations. We've built our foundation. Now the bricks are gonna be used in a different way. And the first way we can do that is, first, one, know your opponent, but master yourself. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking down in my notes. The oppressor has their ways, and we observe. The opponent has their ways, and instead of trying to knock our heads and try to have them to change, use all of that information and knowledge to our advantage. Because when we know how they operate, what makes them tick, what is important to them, what triggers them, what drives them, then we can navigate in a way that protects us and protects others, and at the same time learn how to defend ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Because if you don't know who you're in the arena with, then now you're just going to try all different tactics and whatnot, and might tire yourself out. And this is a long game. This is something that we're going to be going in for the long run. I know I'm talking vaguely, but those that get it, gets it. And so, it's so important to know them. However, if you know them, but you don't know yourself, you don't master yourself, meaning all the trauma, healing triggers, limiting beliefs that you've kept inside you throughout the years, deal with it, heal from it, and not just keep on healing and being in that healing stage. We need you, the collective needs you to learn and grow and see the lessons, take those and transmute them into your power, because that's what we need. Okay? We need you to heal and not just stay in the healing and think that that's where you're just gonna be. It's time to grow, and it's time to armor up with all the things that you've learned and gone through. It sucks. It happened. I understand. I've been there in years, 4 years. But this is a time where we use what happened to us as our advantage. It's our edge. They can't take that away from us, that experience, that spiritual battles, those mental battles with ourselves, with others, with all the things that we've been through. Those have been battles that we've gone through. Some lost, some won. You're here and you get to use that and transmute that. So use it to your advantage in order to be in the long game, the arena, and actually use your skills and not just keep wondering what your skills are. You have gifts, and those gifts are going to come through all the things that you've been through. So I need you to stop thinking and looking about other people who are using their gifts, their tools, and all of these things and say, why not me? Well, you're not honing in your skill. You have gifts, everybody has gifts, and it's time you chip away and build your sword, your armor, and whatnot from what you've been through, because you have the material. The material is enough, more than enough. And you're out here crying, wanting another type of material, someone else's material. Why would you want that? You have yours right there. Mold it into the weapons that you need, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, so that we can navigate this war and actually have the resilience for the long run. I know this sounds harsh, but like, I get it, because girl, they, him, community. I have been in that trenches where I'm just like, in that victim mentality mindset, and it still comes up, but you got to train your mind, okay? That's what they want to control the most, your mind. It's your biggest asset, and your heart, you know, your being, what you focus on. It's so important. Now, the second thing is you gotta learn the game, but don't play fair. What does that mean? That doesn't mean to kill, to steal, to cheat, or what, like to be morally bankrupt. Okay, let's have nuance here, discernment. It means that within this playing field, there are the rules that are given to us and told to us to play by. We need to know those rules, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's government, whether it is in your own household. You know, different spaces have different rules to them, regulations, standards, expectations of how you should be, how you should present yourself, walk about, whatnot. And That's just how it is. That's how the system has been set up. Let's not cry about it. Let's learn those rules. But we don't need to become those rules. You have to know the rules in order to make them work for you. And just like some people have learned to do tax evasion, we're gonna learn how and see how we can see the set of rules that they've given us and what rules can we put in there that they don't need to know, that we're playing by, and we have our own set of rules. Again, this is very vague, but I know that my collective who gets it gets it. It's, what's that phrase? Oh my gosh. It's like you're being compliant but non-compliant. Like I hope someone let me know that. It's like you're being professionally belligerent, but then within the scope of everything, so you're doing things within what they want us to do, but we take it up a notch because we're in a different level. And this takes practice. That goes back to mastering yourself, because they'll try to break you down mentally, emotionally, in all different ways, and or lure you. So it's so important that you work on your self-worth and your self-trust. Because if you don't trust yourself and you don't think that you're worthy or enough, that is a very, it's a target. It's a very easy target. It's the target that they go for all the time. And it takes time, it takes growing, learning, and it's an ongoing thing to build. But you have the material again. So don't give up on yourself. This is going to be a long-term thing. Now, the third is remember your why, but be flexible on how it's accomplished, what it looks like, what vessel it comes through, and when, because divine timing. If you believe in source, God, universe, or simply you believe in yourself, sometimes we can make plans and life be lifing. Oh my gosh. See what I mean? Like Ham is just in the background snoring. To be him, I swear. Remember why you're doing it. Why? Not how it should look like, what it needs to be, should be, why. And that's going to pull you forward, push you, and pull you. That's gonna be your fuel. And find and connect with those who have similar whys or are strong in their whys, and you can link up and see how your whys support each other. We can have different whys, and we can have different ways of how to express it, to show it. For me right now, I'm being called to express through my voice. If it's art, if it's dancing, if it's music, if it's literally communing with people, if you are great at bringing people together, having those conversations, if you are gifted with healing, with your words, with your heart, you are gifted in song, you are gifted in with animals, with plants, with nature, whatever it is that you are gifted in, that you feel called to nurture and strengthen and uphold, do that. Don't put yourself in a box and saying it needs to look like a certain way. It needs to be wrapped a certain way in order for me to give this gift. Gifts come in different sizes and variations. We need all of them. And your gift will evolve over time. But if you just keep it to yourself and say, well, it's not ready, it will never be ready. If you keep it to yourself. And then it reminds me of the quote on how the graveyard is the saddest place of all, because that's where dreams go to die. That's sad. We create our reality right now, where we're at, with what we have, with what we know, and we grow from that. Our tools get better over time, but we start where we're at. Right now, I'm just starting with an iPhone and whoever resonates. But I'm being called to share this, and I know that it's for the greater good. Now, it can also just be because you want to, for your inner child. It doesn't even need to be for anyone else. It could just be because it makes you feel good. It sparks up your life. So, to summarize, we're crashing out with purpose. 1, we gotta know our opponent, but we gotta know ourselves way more and master ourselves. 2, learn the game, the rules of the game, but don't play fair. Play with your own rules while keeping in mind the rules that they have set. Number 3, remember why you're on this journey. Be flexible on how and when, and connect with those that can uplift your why, and you can also support their why. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Mwah.